If you want to truly understand what arouses a woman, you must understand what's going on in her mind, not just what you've seen in movies or read online. A woman's fantasies reveal something important that most men miss about her desires. When you understand these patterns, you can create experiences that align with what she wants. What I'm going to share with you now isn't a review of every man's fantasies, but rather an understanding of the underlying psychological aspects so you can engage with them more deeply. I'm Dr. Lisa, your trusted advisor on men's health. Here's what we'll be discussing today. First, the most common women's fantasies and what they reveal about the dynamics of control. Then come the tense fantasies full of danger and adrenaline. Finally, there are the fantasies driven by curiosity, exploring new horizons. Pay close attention to this first part, as it's the foundation upon which everything else is built. Understanding why you have these fantasies is more important than the fantasies themselves. Click the agent button, because what we're going to discuss today is based on psychological research and real conversations with women. Let me make one thing clear from the start. Everyone has fantasies. Everyone has desires, dreams, and thoughts. They're perfectly normal, perfectly human, and all legitimate. Daydreaming is a sign of a creative mind. Yes, it's perfectly normal to think about these things. Daydreaming is perfectly natural for both men and women, as it allows us to explore our imaginations and refresh our minds. We dream about many different things. Winning the lottery, taking a dream vacation, or getting married on the beach are all dreams. Sexual fantasies are no exception. They're an integral part of human nature. And here lies the paradox. Should we act out every fantasy we have? Of course not. Sometimes it's better to keep certain thoughts to ourselves. And when we're in a relationship, it's best to keep some fantasies private so we don't regret them later. Because what is done cannot be undone. Every action has a reaction, and its consequences are real. The first of these fantasies, and one of the most common among women, is about submission to a man. The woman desires to be submissive. This fantasy involves her partner giving her orders in everything. He demands that she do what he wants, and she obeys him blindly as if she were a prisoner. The man is stronger, more influential, and physically more powerful than her, and he skillfully controls every situation. He dominates her by force, holding her tightly, thus depriving her of control and power. The man owns everything. Listen carefully. This is one of the most common fantasies because a woman never completely relinquishes control. When you are submissive and completely surrender control, that's the essence of this idea. The important thing to understand is that it's not about outright aggression or disrespect, but about psychological freedom and relinquishing control in a safe environment with someone you trust. Many men feel controlled, either out of fear or by taking it literally. The truth is, she wants you to be confident, assertive, and in control, not aggressive or disrespectful. Now let's talk about the forbidden space fantasy. This is quite common among women, the idea of having sex in a place where it's strictly prohibited. It might be a public restroom, a classroom, an airplane, a friend's house while everyone is asleep, or a party where you have to be quick because time is running out. What's really happening in this fantasy is that it's entirely driven by adrenaline. The adrenaline rush that's inside all of us is activated when there's danger. But wait, there's something else you need to understand. This kind of fantasy is dangerous because it carries security risks. If you get caught, you could be arrested, or it could lead to serious problems with dire consequences. So it's best to be mindful of this rather than risk legal trouble or embarrassment. The secret lies in understanding what you truly want. It's not about the location, but the excitement, the urgency, the desire to do something with you. You can create that same adrenaline rush safely. The third common sexual fantasy involves 3 people and is often referred to as a threesome. This scenario typically involves her partner, and a third person. But what most people don't realize about this fantasy is that she actually desires to be loved by many people simultaneously. She is the center of attention, everyone is busy serving her, and everyone desires her. In that moment, she becomes the focus of all attention and desire. Herein lies the difficulty. This idea is deeply ingrained in your mind. As they say, you play with fire and you get burned. In reality, you're introducing a third party into your relationship, which could lead to your partner falling in love with this third person, or perhaps they don't want you in the picture and are watching you from behind. Many things could happen, and this is a dangerous situation. So you must keep these thoughts in mind and preserve the sanctity of your relationship. The dream interpretation suggests that she desires to be more attractive. You can give her this feeling without involving anyone else. Another common fantasy among women is having sex with another woman. This might be due to women's freedom and independence in contemporary culture, or because women are more delicate and sensitive and know exactly what pleases each other. And because you're a woman, you understand yourself better, don't you? In fact, this fantasy is very common, but it can be extremely dangerous. If she doesn't want to change course, she shouldn't go down that path at all, because it's like playing with fire, especially if she's in a serious relationship with you. Of course, everyone is entitled to their opinion. As responsible adults, everyone has the right to do what they want. But if you're both unsure of the consequences of your actions, it will remain just a fantasy, something you can only explore in your minds and imaginations. The important thing to remember is that fantasies don't always have to come true to be meaningful. Sometimes simply existing in a woman's mind is enough to fulfill her desires. One of the most common fantasies among women is having sex with a stranger. This is often linked to the adrenaline rush that comes with being with a stranger and the what if question. This means having fun and being free with someone who has nothing to do with it. She doesn't care about them, and she doesn't care about herself. Whatever happens, it stays in that moment. It ends when you both leave. Time ends. It's about not judging and doing what you want without feeling ashamed later, because you'll probably never see them again. The fundamental principle here is life is short, so live your life with complete honesty and transparency, because it's only once. But the most important thing is to consider the consequences. Life might end today or tomorrow, or it might last 100 years. A bad deed you do today could haunt you forever and negatively affect your thinking. Be mature. If you suffer from nightmares, decide whether it's best to leave them in your imagination or whether they warrant acting on them, as they could jeopardize your mental health or relationship. If you found this content helpful, click the subscribe button, leave a comment, and tell me which of these nightmares surprised you the most and how its meaning changed the way you interact with your partner. I read everything. Thank you for following. Keep learning, growing, and staying interested.